What's up, everyone? As you know, this channel is all about CGI and 3D. So today I've got a special one for you. Today we'll be comparing the Bayverse Transformers movies with the cartoon show Transformers Prime. Now, if you are expecting any type of criticism in this video, I'm sorry, you won't get it. I'm just going to compare them and tell you which one is better in what ways and why, just so it helps you to become a better CGI artist. If you have got that point clear, then let's begin. Now, if you don't know anything about Transformers, I recommend watching the movies or the show, and believe me, it's worth your time. Now, I will give you a brief account on what all is related to Transformers. They are basically giant robotic organisms which come from the planet Cybertron to Earth because their planet is destroyed as a result of a war. Now, as they come to Earth, they obviously have to take a form of disguise because they can't just roam around the world with their original robotic forms because it would just look odd. So they take up the form of Earth's vehicles, which they transform into, and that is the reason why they are known as the Transformers. Back to a topic, which is comparing the Bayverse movies with the cartoon show Transformers Prime, I would like to give a brief history, not exactly a history, but a comparison why the movies are much harder to make than the show. One of the main reasons is you have to blend the Transformers characters with the Earth background in the movies. Because in the cartoon show, if you see, you can even create the background from scratch and it is easy to merge the characters into the background. But if you look at the movies, they take place in a realistic background and not CGI. Now, imagine this as just placing the cube we have in Blender in our real lives. It would look odd, wouldn't it? Similarly, if you place the 3D models from Transformers to real Earth in real movie scenes, it will look odd. So they have to tune in the materials and the lighting to adjust all this. And that is the main reason why the movies are much harder to make than the original cartoon show. Now, with that point out of the way, we will look at some of the major key points why some of the aspects the movies or the show is better than the other and why. Now, the first point I would like to bring up is the complexity of your design. You might think that complex designs are much better than the simple ones. I have a point. Now, if you see, this is the perfect example where the Bayverse movies use very complex designs while the show uses minimal and simplistic designs. Now, according to my opinion, and I think many other people also think the same, that the designs used in the cartoon show are much better than the ones used in the movies. Simple designs have two advantages. They are simple to make and they look good, and they also consume very little time. So it increases the efficiency of your work while delivering the best results possible. If you have got that point, we will move to our next one. Now, the second point I would like to bring up is that you should not ignore even the smallest things in your project. Like if you see in the Bayverse, at some instances, there are minor CGI errors which were neglected during the production of the movie. But if you look at Transformers Prime, these instances are reduced to almost none and there are a very few CGI errors. Correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong. But as far as I know, Transformers Prime has done a great job at including even the smallest details, while at some instances even the Bayverse has failed to do so. Now, this can be a human error, as we all know humans make mistakes, but this could play a huge role in the success of that movie. I'm just saying that you should not even neglect the smallest of the things in your project just because it doesn't matter. Everything in your project matters. Even a single particle here and there could change the look of your project. If you have got that point clear, we will move on to the next one. Now, the next point I would like to bring up is that if you have seen the Beavers movies, you know there are a lot of special effects and explosions. Even in Transformers Prime, there are a lot of special effects and explosions. I'm just saying that in the Beavers movies, they have taken care at like what points they should show the explosions and the special effects. While if you look at the show, at some instances, they have like misplaced minor things. I'm not saying it's a big mistake or something. It might be intentional. It just doesn't look good on such a good quality show. Now, I'm not criticizing it, so don't roast me in the comments down below, because even Transformers Prime is my favorite show. So, moving on, we'll discuss the next point, which is also regarding special effects and explosions. Now, the next point I would like to bring up is that if you have seen the Beavers movies, you know it includes a lot of special effects and explosions. Now, that is a good thing, but they have not managed the frequency of these special effects. Like, in other words, they have used it way too often and it just doesn't look good to the audience eyes. Like, if you just see one thing repeated again and again, it just won't look good to you. Similarly, in the movies, they have used the special effects like explosions itself. You can take the example of explosions. They have used it way too often and it just doesn't sound like anything new or exciting. While in the show, they have managed to, keep the distances between each explosion and special effects. They haven't just dumped all the special effects in one scene just to make it more cool and look exciting, but they have spaced it out so that the audience is also excited and fascinated to see all of it. The last point I would like to bring up is if you have seen the cartoon show, you would be really surprised that it fascinated you, but you don't really know why. Well, one of the reasons could be the lighting in that show. If you pay close attention to all the episodes, you would see that they have some beautiful and perfect lighting setup in the scenes they have portrayed. Now, this can be a major role because if you see the night scenes in Transformers Prime, you can actually see what is even happening and you could make out the situation there. Now, I'm not saying that the lighting in the Beavers movies is bad. I am not even comparing those two. I am just saying that the lighting in the show Transformers Prime is very good and you should take inspiration from it. Now, I will be discussing some points, like I'll be comparing those two, the Beavers movies and the Transformers Prime show, not based on CGI. So CGI artists can quit this video, but if you want to watch ahead, you can stay with me. Now, a major point between those two is character introduction. If you have seen Transformers Prime, let's take the example of Smokescreen. You can see that a particular episode was just dedicated to him and developing his characteristics and his character traits. Now, in case of the movies, some of the Transformers were just introduced and we never got any background information on any of them. For example, Hot Rod, which was introduced in The Last Night, the last Beavers movie in 2017. But we might have gotten a background story in the future movies, but sadly Michael Bay retired and we never got the last movie for the Beavers films. While I'm just saying that the storyline is good in both of the shows, the character traits and the building up of characters is way better in Transformers Prime and than the movies. Like, if you even take the characteristics of Ultra Magnus, you can clearly make out that he's a serious guy, he means his business, and he doesn't care about family and everything, but he's just particular on his mission. But slowly, as the time passes, he realizes his traits and then becomes a good member of Team Prime. Like, we were introduced to all these traits indirectly, but we could easily still make them out. This was not the case in the Bayverse movies. Now, this can play a major role in movies or shows like Transformers Prime and the Bayverse movies. So, I just wanted to bring this point up because I like Transformers, and many people who have clicked on this video have just clicked because they like Transformers and not CGI. I'm not saying they don't like CGI, I'm just saying there is a possibility they don't. They might like both of them, like me. So I'm just saying that in a storyline, building up the character and their characteristics is very important, and it gives a backbone to the storyline. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was just listening to my bad English for 10 minutes straight, but I thank you for your patience, and please subscribe if you want more of such content. Thank you. Megatron, be gone! That was very bad. Please do not include that in the video.